The story of the American Revolution begins long before the first shot was fired. In the early 1700s, the 13 colonies lived under British rule. For years, the colonists accepted British control, believing they were protected and supported by the empire. But as time passed, Britain began to tighten its grip. Heavy taxes, strict laws, and limited freedoms made life increasingly difficult for the colonists. Tension rose in 1765 when Britain introduced the Stamp Act, forcing colonists to pay taxes on everyday paper items. For many, this was the moment everything changed. No taxation without representation became the loud cry of protest. The colonists believed they deserved a voice in how they were governed, something Britain refused to allow. Protests soon turned into anger, and anger turned into action. In 1770, the Boston Massacre shocked the colonies as British soldiers fired into a crowd, killing 5 colonists. This event spread fear and fury across America. 3 years later, the Boston Tea Party made history as colonists dumped British tea into the harbor, rejecting unfair taxes and warning the British that the people were prepared to fight back. Britain responded harshly, punishing Massachusetts and sending more troops to enforce control. For the first time, colonists realized that peaceful protests might not be enough. Many believed war was becoming inevitable. In April 1775, the first shots of the American Revolution echoed at Lexington and Concord. Nobody knows who fired the shot heard round the world, but its impact was immediate. Ordinary farmers and townspeople stood against the world's strongest army. The revolution had begun. Soon after, the Continental Congress met in Philadelphia to unite the colonies. They appointed George Washington as commander of the Continental Army. Washington faced tremendous challenges: lack of weapons, lack of training, and lack of resources. But one thing his soldiers did have was determination. They were fighting for their homes, their families, and their future. In 1776, an important voice rose above them all: Thomas Jefferson. He wrote the Declaration of Independence, a bold document stating that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On July 4th, the colonies officially declared independence from Britain. It was a courageous decision and a dangerous one, because now Britain was coming to crush the rebellion. The next few years were filled with hardship. Washington's armies suffered cold winters, hunger, disease, and crushing defeats. Many soldiers had no shoes, no blankets, and little hope. But Washington refused to give up. At Valley Forge, he pushed his army to train through the freezing conditions. Slowly, the Continental Army began to transform into a disciplined fighting force. In 1778, a turning point arrived when France joined the American cause. With French ships, soldiers, and supplies, the colonists finally had a chance to win. Battles across the countryside continued, and though victory was uncertain, American morale grew stronger. By 1781, the final showdown came at Yorktown. British General Cornwallis found himself trapped. Washington and the American troops attacked by land, while French ships blocked escape by sea. With no way out, Cornwallis surrendered. The war was effectively over. America had done the impossible. They had defeated one of the most powerful empires in the world. But while victory brought freedom, it also brought a new challenge: how to build a nation from scratch. This is where the next part of the story begins: the struggle to create a government strong enough to unite the states, yet free enough to protect the rights of the people. The American Revolution was more than a war. It was the birth of a country, an idea, and a new direction for the world.